contest, well. Forecast or anything that might move.
3% interest. And also with us tonight, we should point out Jonathan Steinberg, editor-in-chief of Individual Investing Magazine. Nice to see you. Welcome back. How did you do that with the doubling your money in that short period of time in that contest?
In the contest, well, it was tough. I mean,
you were following what, about 100 or 200 stocks in that?
Probably about 100 stocks. And anytime any stock made a new surprising earnings forecast or anything that might move the market in that stock, I took a closer look at it, and I came out with 15 stocks in my portfolio that increased in value, and I lost money on 2. There was a time there were some stocks that were really overpriced, and I made a big gain on a short sell, Hungarian Telegraph.
So you're able to short stocks as well?
Right, you can short and buy.
Did you do a lot of day trading?
Oh, no, a lot of week trading, but no day trading really. There was one position that I shorted at 39, covered at 23.5, then I bought it at 23.5, and I sold it at 27.5, all in a matter of 2 weeks.
Which, in some, you can't do that for real, I don't think, if you get the watch sale rule, right? If you sold it, you got your position, then took another position again less than a month later?
That's if you lose money, but anytime you make a gain, they'll gladly let you know, pay taxes on that. Those were all gains, so yeah, I will be paying taxes.
You could have done the same thing?
Well, I mean, I could have, I might have bought, the $200,000 that I bought in each position may have moved the market more than it did in the contest, so the gains might not have been so in the contest.
You should point out that Brendan has a job too. You're going to be a broker at the same company.
Right, I'm employed with Edward D. Jones. I just took my Series 7 last Monday and got a 93 on it. And I've been trying for 8 weeks, and then I'll start opening accounts here at the end of December. So anybody that's trying to make some New Year's resolutions and want to increase their portfolio.
He'll go far.
Stressful times. So my son, where's my son at, Jay?
Right here.
Hey, in the back row.
All the way.
Come on up here.
Excuse me.
Come on up here. So anyway, so when Jay was 14 years old, he said, Dad, he said, you think I should do what you do, or should I be an engineer? And I said, boy, this was 2008 financial crisis. I said, Jay, you want to be an engineer. So, with the market, and I need to run for cover, this guy's building projects. Yeah, so anyway. So, anyway, so at least I gave this boy some good advice. So anyway, what I want to say is, I wanted to say, my client, Mary, has been with me for over 25 years, almost from the beginning of time. Mary, right here. That's my girl right here. Mary had a 401k that we set up, the first 401k that I set up with for business, and she retired, and we've continued to do business these years. And she's referred a lot of people to me. I'm very grateful for you, Mary. And also, I wanted to say special thanks to my oldest client that will be turning 100 years old in March. And so it's people like these two and my other clients and my friends here that really make you, as you all know, you all have a business in Southlake. It's just a great community. And it's like we do things because we want to, not because we have to, and it's just heartfelt. I mean, so Ronell being here, Miss Laura here, Miss Laura Hill, Miss Laura, I call her, but being here, it's just like just being in Southlake is like, it's almost like the elected officials are just so good. It's almost a reason to move here. If you didn't have everything else, it was in a good spot. But one thing about our business, I wanted to say that, so I went to the Army for 4 years after high school. Needed to save money for college. I had about $6,000 saved up, and that wasn't enough. And so went to the Army for 4 years, and I lucked out and got stationed in Hawaii. Which my sister used to work for the travel agency. She used to say, I can't believe my brother's going to the Army. Once I got stationed in Hawaii, it's like, my brother's in the Army in Hawaii. So it was always like, oh, okay. But anyway, it's like, okay, I guess it's not so bad on the outside. But came back and had an internship at Merrill Lynch when I was in college. I went to UT Arlington so I could live at home in Duncanville where I grew up, where our current governor of Texas was about 12 years before me, Mr. Greg Abbott. He walked the same halls that we did at Duncanville. But anyway, Lori went to Duncanville. She was a star basketball player, and her sister Chanel, my Duncanville friend, and their parents, Ken Jones. I got them to move from Duncanville after me to Southlake and Grapevine area Southlake schools.
I lived across
We love it here.
15
We love
years.
it.
15 years I lived across
Chanel and
the
Stan live in Cimarron. But anyway, so I recruited for Southlake once I got here.
Sure did.
But yeah, so I got my good friends that could afford to move over. or the best I could. I did the best. So I want to say thank you guys for coming out. It means a lot to me. And so I worked for Edward Jones. I had an office in DeSoto for 2 years after I got out of college. And then got to the point where it was like the big companies, there's so much red tape, as we all know, working with the government or just things. It's like, man, I was like, I like to trade. I like to be able to trade stocks. I mean, I might buy something, hold it for 10, 20 years, 30 years, or what have you, but I also want to be able to sell it the next day. Actually, I got in trouble with Edward Jones. Well, I didn't really get in trouble with Edward Jones, but I got in trouble. A client had bought a CD, a callable CD, and anyway. I was like, this is too much, man. But it was okay. We took care of it, but it was like, oh my gosh, it was like a CD, man. I'm like, come on, man, I gotta get out of this town or something. I don't know. It was all good. But anyway, so I left, and that's where I met Scott. I went to the firm where Scott was, and I was like, okay, it's more freedom, and so we had about 10 advisors in the office. We worked in Las Colinas, and we would collaborate on stock ideas, investments, and so forth. And then I would go to the meetings, and we'd all go to the meetings, and it was like Scott was pretty much the only person that I cherished what he had to say as far as the collaboration. I would walk out of the meeting with like, hey, Scott had some good ideas. I'm going to do some further research on what Scott had to say. And it was almost like, so anyway, I left that firm after 8 years, and I went to another firm where I could work from home. Well, I worked there 8 years, and then the industry kind of changed in the sense where people could basically set up shop at these. So basically, I joined Ameritrade on the institutional side, and so now all my clients are housed at TD Ameritrade. And I started Linch Financial 10 years ago, and I launched it. I had a satellite office, a small office in Highland Park, but I was still living in Duncanville because I was helping take care of my father that. Had passed away in 2010. He was a long time alcoholic, but it was like, but anyway, I needed to be there for him. And once he passed away, I was like, I want to move to Southlake. And so packed up, came here, and closed the office in Highland Park, and just said, I'm going to work out of my home exclusively in Southlake. And here we are. And so just a couple of points I wanted to make were that, so with us, so basically, Charles Schwab has just bought TD Ameritrade about 1.5 years ago. So basically, we're all going to be the same. David Fern is here from Schwab, and David was telling me, "Hey, Brad, you need to look at Schwab." I said, "Hey, David, I'm happy with TD Ameritrade." And it was within a week. Hey, David.
Yeah, I was like, you should come to Schwab. He's like, no, I'm really happy. And then a week later, we announced the acquisition. I said, see, Brad, tell me no next time.
So we're partners now, but we're still kind of doing the conversion to Schwab. But anyway, And so what we do is we charge the fee. So basically Schwab and everybody went to 0 commission, so we can buy a stock for anybody, 0 commissions. And the only time, so we'll have an annual fee, well actually a quarterly fee, and the fees are small, anywhere from 0 to 2%. And when I say 0, it's because if I don't make my clients money, I don't charge them anything, okay? I've got this sense where it's like, hey, I feel like, we're all in this together. I can take care of my bills with what I've accumulated in my lifetime. And if I have to take my clients' money, I want it because we're all making money together. So if we go into a bear market and we haven't made much money or whatever, or maybe we make a little bit, we take a little bit, but we're not, so the more our clients make, the more we make. If we don't make our clients money, if we had a client, it hasn't happened, but I'm just saying, if we had a client that, let's say 2 years never made any money because the market just went straight down from day one, which I'd like to think that we're going to hedge and do some things and we'll make money. But worst case scenario, we don't charge, we don't make money, point blank. We're not going to be the only ones making money. And I think that's kept a lot of, it makes it more easy because it's like, when your clients say, hey, Brad, I've lost this much money, then I say, yeah, but they're like, okay, well, I know you're losing too, because whatever I buy my clients, I buy the same thing for myself. So pretty much all my clients, if I want to, we have a block account where we may buy 5% of a position for everybody, and we make it happen anyway. So everybody gets the same thing. And let me see, what else, Scott? What am I missing?
Pretty much everything.
You feel like
As
eating
a
some
customer,
food?
that's a true, as a client, that's a true testament, I promise you. True. I think you said.
Well, it's so good to see so much support from the Chamber of Commerce, from his clients, from his friends and family. This is an amazing turnout for ribbon cutting. I couldn't get Laura Hill at my ribbon cutting.
When I am a great client, I spend a ton
That's also in her book. It's coming out.
All right. There was one thing I just left on my notes here. I just want to say that basically our minimum. The only thing we ask of our clients is that they start with at least $250,000 and then let us do the rest. That's all you got to do. You just do that part and we do the rest.
up from there.
You got it.
Well, thank you, Brad.